sisters and misses and misters, here's your daddy-o with the sounds to go. No shucking, no jive, and I'm telling you, your music's arriving. Ha ha, what I say.
Hey, I am Largo. This is the lair. That over there is Wilhelm. Hey, Will.
Oh, quit poking me. How you doing?
I'm
all right.
I'm getting there. It has been a week of Mondays, but I'm happy I'm here. How are you doing?
Pretty good. Yeah. It's a great Wednesday. I'm really hoping tomorrow will be great, and be really awesome if we knew someone that lives in the future.
Dude, that would be cool. Let's see who our guest is, shall we?
Sure.
All the way from the other side of the world, PG of PGM, the PGM show.
Yeah, welcome.
Yeah.
Thank you for having me, guys. You can see me to ear, right? I love the show. So
How
good
are
to see
things
you.
from tomorrow?
same as yesterday. I'm sorry to say.
Gosh. Damn it! I was hoping.
Yeah, PG is about 18 hours ahead, so he's tomorrow for me. So, because today's the tomorrow you thought about yesterday. My head hurts. But
Yeah, there's no flying cars here yet, guys. So,
not yet.
Damn it!
Yeah.
Flying
What a
cars,
ripoff.
hoverboard, jetpack.
Yeah.
I've been waiting for those since I was like 5. Never got them. We got to know PGM's channel from our buddy Stu, who does Universal Toy Collector and Shabby Geek and that whole bunch of idiots that we love to watch. So
Yeah.
they're fun.
Underlining idiots.
Well, we say that with love.
Friendly, yeah, so do I. So,
The usual gang.
yeah.
Hoodlums, hooligans, idiots, knuckleheads. That's us collectively.
But we all love you.
Indeed.
Yeah, so.
What brought you to doing your channel? Just inspiration from other fellow collectors and friends who have similar interests?
I had a channel a long way back with a guy called Michael here. So we went, and didn't really work out. I named it like a radio announcer kind of name, right? And it was stuck in between all these mechanic shows, right? So nobody could watch it and stuff like that. So it didn't really last that long. And he was a young guy, and I was kind of in my 50s, and yeah, I didn't want to push him into, sticking with me. I said, look, I gave him, like, you need to go and do something that you want
Spread
to
your
do.
wings. Yeah.
Wings, right? Don't, don't don't come here. Don't be here because this old fart is making you do anything, right? So, and then really, yes, I actually thought about it for a long time doing a show on my own, right? And I thought, well, how about incorporating PGM and putting, because I like the Graham Norton show, right? So I like making people laugh and stuff like that. So I said, look, how about the PGM show? So I stuck with it, and here I am today, doing movie reviews and toy reviews. When I got started and got going, and I kind of like all that kind of stuff. And
Yeah.
I'm not a good editor.
For the uncultured Yanks at home, Graham Norton does a variety show where he has lots of guests from the entertainment industry, and he's damn funny. I like watching it.
So,
But
but it's been fun. I haven't done a lot since because life gets in the way.
It does. Yeah, I know how you feel.
we definitely understand that.
Yeah.
Will and I have many channel ideas that we want to implement, but adulting and adult stuff tends to get in the way of YouTubing.
It's so fun.
But we're not here to talk about that. We're here to talk about your playlist. So let's see what is in the PGM music dossier, if you will. So there is the link for PG's channel, and he is on YouTube. It's got some interesting interviews and bits there. And we'll dive in here. So what did you send us? This is the list. A lot of these were new to me, not being real familiar with music in Europe or New Zealand that's popular, but some of them are old favorites. Is this just what you're listening to right now, or are these some of your all-time favorites, or how did you pick?
I listen to these quite a lot, like especially That's Freedom by John Farnham, and quite a lot of John Farnham stuff. I'm a big John Farnham fan, and I mean these songs have been through me through the years, decades, really. Like If I Was Majura, I think when he went out on his own, I think he was a little bit better than he was in his band. Sorry, Majura, if you're watching. I thought he was better, but If I Was is a great song. Pamela, I grew up with friends of mine back in Nelson, because Nelson, New Zealand is where I grew up, and had friends, and then and then I moved here to Wellington because I got a chance to actually be. But people are gonna really say, don't mention Lord of the Rings, The Return of the King. So I'm going to mention as a hobbit and as an extra. So I came over here for that kind of thing. But
we love the Lord of the Rings movies, and yes, it did put New Zealand on the map for entertainment because of all the beauty that was filmed for those. But yeah, I imagine that gets a little old. If you live in New Zealand, it's like, we're not just hobbits here. We have other stuff.
Tim Finn, I'm a good fan of. But before that, I was a really good fan. I used to listen to Split Ends a lot with friends, getting blasted and smoking lots of
recreational pharmaceuticals. We enjoy.
A big fan of all these groups. Elton John, of course.
Right on. Well, let's get into it.
I just got a telegram. This comes from
the home office.
Yeah, from HQ guys. I'm sorry to interrupt the show, but just mentioning here that viewers at home, because we cannot play these songs during this recording for copyright issues, they encourage you to go ahead and check the description below. Click that link, and it'll open up the playlist in another window. You could turn that music down just slightly enough so you could hear us talking, because that's important as well. And you could listen along at home while you watch the show.
That's lovely.
Yeah, it really enhances. Actually,
Yeah.
it says that it enhances your viewing pleasure by over 9,000%.
Wow.
Yeah, that's from
Because
management. That was that comes from. Uh, oh yeah, that's a peer reviewed paper there. So, yeah,
that's it.
guys,
85% of the time, it works 100% of the time.
So,
that's
guys,
right.
it's cool to be hip to be square. So,
It
Yeah.
is indeed.
So yeah. Oh,
Also,
and yeah, they
just
said
to let folks
we could
know
get on
so
with the
that we
show.
don't. Okay, we'll get on with it. One more thing. When we get to Wilhelm's favorite song, whichever one that is, we will celebrate with the traditional Wilhelm happy dance. So you just let me know when we hit your favorite, Will.
Oh yeah, yeah, yeah. It's in there. There was a
All right.
favorite.
Well, let's start with one I'm not terribly familiar with, Dave Dobbin. Cool song. Loyal was done on his 88 album of the same title, Loyal. It was super hot in New Zealand and is still
Yeah.
well beloved. So, what brought you to Dave Dobbin?
Dave Dobbin has been iconic in this country. It still is, really, to be quite honest. I think he's still recording, actually. Um, but Dave Dobbin, Loyal is this song's about a breakup, I think, because if you've seen the video, if you haven't seen the video, it's a great video when he's walking through the house, empty house, and he's singing, Loyal, the little song, but he's going through all the houses, and I think his ex partner or something like that is packing up her stuff, and it's, but it's an amicable breakup kind of song. Call me Loyal. I just think the tones and this his voice just speaks volumes for me. I think I love Dave Dobbin because he's such a Kiwi bloke. I mean, he had two bands back in the 70s. The Dudes, right, and DD Smash.
Which we'll talk about later. But yeah.
But I love Dave Dobbin. He changed his life because he was heavily into drugs and alcoholic as well. He changed his whole life around, right? And he's become a Christian guy, so he goes to church here in New Zealand, of course. But I used to still do listen to the song religiously. Because it just had
Just
such
a tremendous voice. He's an
yeah.
excellent singer. It was a real,
Um,
real nice, totally 80s though, right? This was
Yeah.
definitely
Oh
done
yeah.
in the 80s. Yeah, I felt, and I'll say this about a lot of the songs on this, and I think I said the same thing on Zazel's playlist was, I feel like all of these songs would have fit right in. Although not all of them gained popularity in the U.S., they would have fit right in with, it feels like it's like a multiverse thing where these songs existed. They're totally 80s. They fit right in. It's almost like watching them. You could feel like you should remember them because it's so familiar, but it's not, like the style and it's interesting. It's very interesting. It's like
Yeah,
Yeah,
I mean,
that does seem to be a
80s.
common theme between folks in other countries other than the United States, where there are great artists that get a lot of airplay on the radio that never get heard in the States.
Mhm.
So,
I could
as
easily see
Will
this.
mentioned, yeah,
Yep, just in the same vein as some of the biggest hits of the 80s
I mean,
in the
absolutely.
U.S.
I was telling you a story in the green room about Lisa Gibbons and how Dave Dobbin sang to Lisa Gibbons when she was over here touring. Right? I mean, I Want to Know You was the song. You should check that
Yeah.
out. He was strumming along, singing the song, and Lisa Gibbons was walking, like he was going backwards, and she was going. That's before it says, "I want to know you." That's the horrible thing. So it's just brilliant. So Lisa Gibbons knows Dave Dobbin probably
Yeah.
briefly.
There's a couple of breakout artists like Kylie Minogue who has had some fame in the United States, but most part, a lot of great artists never really get seen or heard here or this part of, the
Yeah.
Americas. I say here, but I'm in Guatemala, but I grew up in the States.
Yeah.
But
Yeah.
yeah, it's the same kind of idea. So yeah, Dave Dobbin, check him out. He's in the playlist linked below in
Great
our
album.
description area.
Great album. Little Zeros.
And
It's
And what you call? You said he was a what did you say? He was a Kiwi bloke.
yeah,
Kiwi,
Yeah,
good old,
I like
good old
that.
Kiwi bloke.
Good old Kiwi bloke. All right, nice,
So,
nice.
another
Wow.
fellow that most of us are familiar with, Phil Collins, on his No Jacket Required album, which was really popular everywhere. This is one of the songs that it's really more heartfelt. I mean, he did a lot of bangers, real good, number one songs. A long, long way to go was kind of interesting, a little bit different. Definitely written with a meaning behind it more than just a pop song. So he had worked with Sting when they had done Band Aid and later on did Live Aid. And so when he was writing this, he wanted to, get someone to do some backup vocals. Sting said, sure, why not? So you'll hear Sting in the background when you listen to this.
Very cool.
Yeah. I just love the song because it deals with, for me, it had a little bit more context, with the song. I think very sad and dark, but
It is.
it had a very, of course, melodic sounding, the realness. I guess for me, I think coming out with, you can turn all that bullshit off, right? If you want to, right? It's your choice, or it meant something like, why are you watching this crap when you can turn it off? But there's also something going on in your life,
Yeah, more of a cultural awareness. This was a big thing for those of us who were 80s kids. Live Aid, Band Aid, several different aid type charity drives were to draw awareness to problems in Africa of famine and other political issues that were humanitarian issues. And a lot of musicians and other entertainers got together and said, what can we do with our fame to help get some fundraising going? And, Bob Geldof and some of the other guys made that happen. So that's kind of where this originated. And it's, it's a little more toned down than some of the other songs on the album, but I liked it. What do you think, Will?
Yeah, it was a great song. The video that I watched for it was the Live Aid performance. So it was a really nice live performance. And I just love that Phil Collins could just call up Sting and be like, hey, you want to throw down some background vocals for me? Oh, yeah, no problem.
Yeah.
It's great. It's just awesome.
It is definitely cool seeing, great musicians who just love to hang and jam, like with Daryl Hall did a show where he just had people come to his studio in his backyard and hang out. And it was really cool.
I love
kind of that same vibe. Right on. Now this is another one I was not familiar with. This is a Scottish lad, I believe. Midjur, is that how it's pronounced?
Midjur, yeah, Midjur.
Midjur.
Yeah, he's Scottish, so it's Midge Ur. So
got a wee bit of a brogue going. Yeah, I can't do a Scottish brogue, but what brought you to If I Was? If I Was. Mm-hmm. I can't even read my own type.
Yeah, I mean it's got some really quite good lyrics in this song. If I was, a poet, if I was a soldier, I think it's a love story, right? It's a love story song. I love Madura. This Gift soundtrack is brilliantly done, but this song stood out. I think, because it was really well done. To be quite honest with you,
and listening to the song, if I didn't know the background, the fact that it was actually inspired and written for Live Aid, I wouldn't have connected it because it's just a good song. the lyrics could mean a lot of different things. It could mean, some very deep things just for somebody for personal growth or talking about where they've gone with their life. So it's kind of interesting to see how songs, they mean something to you that may not have any relation to what the initial artist meant when they wrote it.
Yeah, I mean, I think because it was so well written, so well sung by Major, right? Coming from an actor's background or a filmmaker's background that I have been, right? I just thought it was a good love story, and it was great lyrics and the wording of this. Right? If I was a soldier, if I was a poet, right? If I was, and the music to it to me, because it was,
Yeah.
great up and down kind of scale.
Oh, yeah. Very much an 80s anthem.
Yeah.
Just it had the flavor of
Yeah.
all the great things we love about the 80s.
And,
Can I
and it was
do something that
Ultravox.
we haven't done on the show before, and just share my window with you real quick. I just want to show you
Sure.
something. We're not going to play the music, so we won't get in trouble. But
Okay.
just want to show you this moment, because I was watching the video, and when this happened, I became a fan.
Oh yeah, yeah.
Oh,
Look at this dude. Oh yeah, right there. Yeah, you see him? The guitar spins, he grabs it, he starts jamming out. He's wearing that trench coat. I mean, just amazing. This guy is cool as hell, man. I love him. Saw that moment, and I just had to share it. Sorry, guys, but yeah, that was it. And later on, he's got some moves, man. He's not just sitting there strumming. He's doing a little, Major, man.
Yeah.
I'm a fan.
We've talked about this before. One of the things we keep going back to the 80s is a lot of the showmanship, the music videos. The music itself was much more creative than some of the decades that have come after. Not to say there aren't some good artists out there now, but there's just something about the 80s that's special.
Some music videos I couldn't understand. Music videos that it's just like it doesn't connect with the song. What are you doing? It's just like,
oh yeah, there's some trippy stuff. We may do a side.
I want a Major action figure where he has the guitar and everything.
The long, and the trench coat and everything.
I just love it. I love him. Like the second that happened, I was like, oh, this dude is awesome.
Would you say this was your favorite, Will?
No, I wouldn't say that it's my favorite, but
okay.
Love this guy. This is
all right.
It's close though.
Fair enough. This is another old favorite. This is one that our buddy Zazel from Zazel's Sergeant Slaughter's Slaughterhouse and the new Clubhouse introduced us to when he did a playlist. And then we went and listened to a lot of John Farnham and said, oh yeah, where has this guy been all my life? I didn't know. Yeah. He's great. And That's Freedom was initially written for an American guy by the name of Tom Kimmel, but it did okay. But when John Farnham recorded it, it was super. It really shot to the top of the charts.
Yeah, and if you go to Netflix, I think it's on Netflix at the moment. John Farnham's got a documentary all about him and where his life kind of didn't hit his peak until he was nearly not so much rock bottom, but he had to change. It's a good documentary anyway. So, because some of these songs that he wrote, like Whispering Jack, that were songs of somebody else's, and he took them and he redone them and recreated them, and
right. And Farnham is one of those. He's been in the industry forever, since he was a teenager. And just like you say, just didn't hit it big. He was with different bands. Then he did some solo stuff. He was well known and liked, but he wasn't super popular until he got older.
The sad part of it, Jim Wilhelm, is that he had done a song called Sadie, the Cleaning Lady, and he got stereotyped, as you say, and they wouldn't take any of his other songs, right? So because he was Sadie the Cleaning Ladies singer, right? And this was back in the 1960s or something like that. And
Right.
so he's trying to get into to be him, John Farnham, right? So nobody would take him seriously, and that's why he couldn't get as big as he is now until he got that song, The Voice, right?
Yes.
And he, so because somebody somebody created that song, but he took that song and arranged
Really made it his own. Yeah.
made it his own, and then #1 hit, and he bigger than ever. So,
and that's very similar to what he did with That's Freedom. I mean, he totally made this his own, and his version is much more popular than the original.
Yeah, I love the song. It's I think it's part of his life. That's freedom. That's he's it's what speaks to me. He's gotten out of that stigma of of not being stereotyped. But,
right, getting stereotyped. Do you find that to be a challenge for yourself, PG, when you're going for acting roles? People just want you to fit something specific that you've already played, or is that why you can kind of relate?
Yeah, I mean, I'm an extra at the moment still, but I want to kind of do some more acting, right? So,
sure.
But yeah, even as an extra, I gotta go get stereotyped. I mean, it's my face, right? So it's I can only play hobbits, no.
Or they want you to be the guy in the pub in the background, or this or that.
Yeah, I mean, that's all good. I don't mind that because I get paid, but it's I mean, I got there's a story here. It was Mortal Engines, which is a James Christensen film, which was produced by Peter Jackson. Right, I was on set for 5 days on this, and there was one scene that there's the woman coming up to the actor who was playing in the slave market, right, and threatening him scene. If you've seen that, in the slave market, and I think the director said, "Can we move some of these guys, these extras around, please? Have one guy up on front of stage where Mark Hadlow was getting threatened by this actor because she's got to walk through the crowd, please, right?" And I was picked to go up the front, right, where the camera was, because the camera was going to come this way, right, and I was in front of it. So Peter Jackson behind, I think he was directing that day. Behind the camera, Peter Jackson says, "Can we swap this guy out because his face is gonna be detracting to the actor coming up, right? Because I've got a prominent face, right? Like this prominent face. So
you didn't want you to draw the spot away from the main actor.
The actor's coming up. So I got replaced by someone else, right? But I was cool with that, right? Because you don't want to make a big scene, right?
Sure.
I got replaced. I got taken down. I gave Pete a thumbs up, right? But he came. It was funny. Funny thing is that I never heard anything else about this. He came around with a camera, stuck it in my face, just a still camera, and stuck it in my face and took a picture of me. I'm going, okay, that's odd. So anyway, that's the story.
You definitely made an impression on a famous director. That's something, Yeah. But yeah, I can see where that could definitely be a challenge because it's a small pool of extras that they're drawing from in New Zealand, and you definitely want to be in the running when there's something coming up. Mortal Engines was fun. I like that movie. Book was better, but that's the way it always is. Books are usually better.
5 days work, Jim. So I can't laugh about that.
Yeah.
Don't knock it. That's it. DD Smash. We mentioned them briefly. Fun bunch. Older stuff. I say older, but typical 80s stuff again. Boy band before there were boy bands. Just a bunch of louts running around, getting loud, getting drunk, having fun. Fun video. You can tell they're enjoying what they're doing, and they're just hanging with their mates, and the song reflects that. It's just a fun tune.
I think they were taking the piss out of the New Zealand weather, actually. So as an outlook Outlook for Thursday when he was going like that, right?
Right.
that's because the weather can be really,
Temperamental.
a pain in the ass, you could say. It's I think plus they were actually summertime in New Zealand here in the 80s was just brilliant. So it's just like, yeah, you're right, Jim. It's just like boys having a great time, and I love this because it was just so comically done and really well sung by Dave Dobbin, because he's just, you see, again, you can see everybody having fun, and even when Dave getting drenched by water,
Right.
buckets of
Yeah,
water. So,
somebody off stage is just tossing and drenching him. It's a funny video. I enjoyed it. The song by itself is great, and then you put it with the video, it's even better. What do you think of this one, Will?
I'd say it was fine. Otherwise, dandy, right? Very.
We
cool.
haven't found your favorite yet.
Yeah, lots
I'm
of fun.
surprised.
And I liked it. Totally 80s. Like just the phone, the sets, the everything they're doing. It just reminded me of those times. So it was just really fun.
Oh well, yeah, it's just like, are we going to see sheep in the video? It's just like the same old joke. The sheep outdo the humans in New Zealand. So,
yeah, I'd imagine there's more sheep than people, but
but yeah, this group was just having fun with all their hits. Outlook for Thursday and Be Mine Tonight, I think, was the Daily Smash All the Dudes and stuff like that. So they all came from the same melting pot,
right?
Of New Zealand singers. Like Peter Ehrlich was the Dudes, right? So he did a solo career as well, Peter Ehrlich. So he, with songs like Bliss, and stuff like that. And then, his sister, may she rest in peace, Margaret Ehrlich, was a singer herself, right? So all these bands knew each other, right? Split it,
right? It's very similar to the British scene, where a lot of guys from some of the blue collar type of places, whether it be Liverpool or what have you, they all come together, they form bands, they break up, they do solo stuff, they come together and make a different band. Seems like there was a similar vibe in New Zealand in those 80s. Right on. Very cool. Check them out. Another one that did get international fame, We Don't Need Another Hero, Tina Turner. Great song, fun movie. Not my favorite Mad Max movie, but pretty good.
For me,
she
this
can do
was
it all,
the one
man.
that was always on, though. Like, I've seen
it
this
was
movie
played a lot.
more than any of the other ones. Like, you have to seek those out. This one is just served up to you constantly. But it does make me want to go back and rewatch them, watching the video.
I've got favorite. I love the autogyro captain. He's one of my favorite characters. Just the actor is so interesting. I prefer, Mad Max to Road Warrior, but this one's a close second. Were you into the movie and that's what inspired the song, or did you like the song first? Or
I think I liked this the soundtrack more than the film. The soundtrack is brilliant. I mean, it's got two. I think it's got 2 or 3 songs from Tina Turner from the soundtrack, and plus the sound of the saxophone with her saxophonist that she went with stuff like that, and it had a different soundtrack than other Mad Max. I think
very different vibe than the previous films. I agree.
We Don't Need Another Hero. I think it was just the beat for me. It was just the beat, that really rock and roll saxophone beat that got me, right? And the lyrics came in with that, with Tina Turner, and she's really iconic. Everybody knows who Tina Turner was. Her voice with raspy voice and stuff like that, and I think it fit well with the film. She got to admit that I think she done well in the film.
Sure.
She's not
She's
an actress
yeah.
per se, but she did well in the film. But the song I think resonates with me because it is iconic, right?
Yes.
Right. So the beat more than anything, guys, is for me is like the.
That's fair. Yeah, Tina is neat. She's shown up on several playlists from, anywhere from the late 60s to, her main popularity in the 70s to, the mid 80s here. And she reminds me a lot of someone like David Bowie. She could reinvent herself every decade and still be relevant. Her music, she just evolved with how she made her sound and was still cranking out number one hits. It's cool. So great song. Okay movie. Like you say, she looked gorgeous in that outfit. Her acting was okay, but I didn't watch the movie for Shakespearean type actors. I was watching it just for a Saturday morning fun kind of thing.
True on that. Yeah, I'd agree with that.
So definitely a good one and a great video worth checking out.
Yeah.
Toto. We love Toto. Most people think of Africa as being one of their big hits, but ironically, the guys in Toto hated that song or learned to hate it because that wasn't really their main sound. That just happened to be the one that was popular. Pamela is more their vibe. And very, very catchy chorus, smooth vocals, just a good song written about Pamela, who was the girlfriend of one of the band members who wrote the song. Which one was it? Joseph Williams. So
I'm
a lot of songs about girls.
Kind of nodding my head, but I'm going, okay, I did not know that because it had a different connotation for me.
And that's, like we said earlier, a lot of songs, they mean something to us that maybe the original intent wasn't.
I've had that so many times where I love a song and then maybe someone will go, actually, did you know that this song's actually about something, this or that? And I'm like, well, I wasn't aware of that, but it doesn't change the fact that I still like the song.
Exactly.
And the reason I like it is different than maybe even the writer or the performer's intention. I can't think of an example off the top of my head, but it's what does it mean to you, PGM?
I again in my teens and in my youth, I listened to the song quite a lot. I think it's just like I said, it's the beat and the melody I liked, and the lyrics, Pamela, right? It got me out of so much funk.
I was gonna say, did you have a Pamela who broke your heart? Maybe she wasn't a Pam, but she was some. Did that inspire your interest in the song?
No, I didn't actually. Sadly enough, that's got away well with the guys, isn't it? Oh God, you sad person, Pete. No, I guess I probably wanted a Pamela. I don't know. Toto sang so many songs about women.
Yes.
But Pamela, I think the lyrics and the tone of the song got me, right? And you start kind of, singing it to yourself.
Yeah.
I don't know. I don't know. I mean,
I call that an earwig. That song that something about it just gets stuck in your head.
Well, it's just on your bandwidth, and you just grew right along to it. So
like I said in the green room, that I grew up listening to so many good songs in the 80s and 90s, right? Hence my playlist, New Zealand or America or Australia or UK. It's just like, I love the 80s music. I had a mullet, for God's sake. I'm still wearing denim on denim. I mean,
yes. The Canadian tuxedo, as we call it, is still popular. Nothing wrong with that.
Stonewashed jeans and stonewashed jeans.
Oh man, stonewashed jeans. A lot of great stuff. I love that stuff. Yeah, we'll never escape the 80s. And some of that has come back again. And, the Gen Y guys are looking at it going, man, that's cool. It's like, you don't even know, man.
No,
You don't even know.
Yeah. The drunken nights and the cigarettes and the dope.
Oh, yeah.
You never know, guys.
It was a different time.
Yeah.
So no thunder, no fire, no rain. Interesting song. I think I'd heard it before, but didn't know who the artist was. It, again, very catchy tune. And not knowing the backstory, I would not have connected it with what it was written about. Did you know the backstory, or were you like me, where you're just like, I like this song?
Yeah, I was like you, Jim. I did not know the backstory until I actually briefly read it was about a true story of a place that had was it a nuclear thing?
It was a gas leak. It was a disaster in I'm gonna mispronounce this, but I think it's Bhopal, India.
Yeah.
And the Union Carbide Corporation had a what do you call it? Just went out of my head. Had a thingy that went kablooey.
Yeah.
Yeah, it was a pesticide plant that was in India. There was a huge gas leak, created a huge tragedy. It was all over the news in 1984. Big natural disaster. They're still recovering from because it poisoned the soil, the water. A lot of people got sick. A lot of people died. And for some reason, this inspired Tim Finn to write this song.
Yeah, hence the no thunder, no fire, no rain. So they must have had no thunder, no fire, no rain. I think for me, because Tim Finn is a New Zealand singer, he came off, they give you a bit of a backstory, he came off his own group, Split Ends, which is a face painting kind of gothic 1980s
glam rock kind of stuff.
Yeah, glam rock band, New Zealand kind of friends get together, from that kind of, and jam and then get big in New Zealand and Australia and do all these crazy songs like Shark Attack and Got You, History Never Repeats and 6 Months in a Leaky Boat, and their last song.
Yeah, they're known for like fun, drinking songs, party songs.
And there's a brother came in. His brother came into it, Neil Finn, right, who's younger than Tim Finn is. So when Neil Finn came into the group Split Ends, there was another huge dynamic, right? And the last song, Message to My Girl, was the goodbye song for Split Ends, right? So go and check that out. It's a brilliant song. And then they split up, went to the Crowded House, got bigger than Tim Finn did, unfortunately, in America. And then because they had Crowded House, Tim Finn created Crowded House. So, and they got huge. And Tim Finn did a few albums like Persuasion, and he did There's No Friction, No Fraction, or something like that. So I forgot. Right. And with the Ghetto Blaster on, 1980s kind of stuff. And then this song came out for me, No Thunder, No Fire, No Rain, right? I loved, again, it's all about feel for me. It's all about the voice to me. It's all about the melody, but it's also about the lyrics. And not knowing this was a true story, I could hear Tim Finn's voice just thunder out, all right, because he's got such a good vocal and such a distinctive sound. It's like Tina Turner. She's got such a distinctive sound, right? I'm saying, hey, that takes me back to New Zealand.
Right.
That takes me back to good old Kiwi stuff,
Yeah.
It's a very emotional song. Absolutely. Yeah. You can feel there's passion in it.
And he sang it so passionately. Yeah. So he I've always liked this song through the decades, right? Still do. So and yes, he didn't get big, but it's it's nostalgic for me.
So. Yeah, I didn't realize the connection with Crowded House, another favorite from back in the day. That's cool. What'd you think, Will?
Yeah, it was wonderful. Like I said, I didn't know any of the story or any of that stuff. It's just a very well done song, and and correct me if I'm wrong, but I do see with all your songs, they all are kind of similar in the fact that
Well,
they
they
all
tell a
kind of
story.
they tell a story and just there's a sound that you enjoy, and I think I see it in the songs that you chose, or at least for this playlist. They all kind of
Yeah,
follow
I
that
think there's a
same.
reason. I think there's a reason in that because I'm back in when I was learning film courses or school, I had a passion for telling stories. My
Mhm.
own imagination kind of feeling. I mean, I love telling stories, and it's having my own ideas. This may sound really pathetic and lonely.
No.
um, I have a list that I want to kind of do my own films. So I
Sure.
create
Sure.
my own stories with that.
Hey, that resonates with us. A lot of the other shows we do on our channels deal with storytelling, lore, delving into the roots of story. So I totally get that. It's
Mm.
Yeah.
very inspiring. You know, I love seeing how a lot of popular characters or songs that we enjoy can trace themselves back to something earlier, something primal, where everybody's like,
Hmm.
there's a reason you like it. You may not know why you like it, but you can kind of figure out, oh, well,
Yeah. Yeah.
there's something in the DNA of this thing that's really groovy, you know? So,
Yeah,
yeah, I
yeah,
totally appreciate that. Elton John, this is an
yeah,
interesting one. I love this guy. He does some great videos, especially in the 80s. He was just loud, proud, doing all kinds of crazy costumes, good songs. This one was kind of more of a romantic one for him. And
yeah.
it's obviously written about Nikita. The story of the song is a border guard who's unable to meet the person who loves him from afar, sees him across the border. This was back in the days when Berlin was split. We had the wall, all that kind of stuff. Um, so the video is framed in such a way that Nikita is a female border guard, but the name Nikita could go either way. And we know
Mm.
Elton, likes the boys, loves the lads. So he was probably thinking about a male Nikita, which, hey, whatever. But
Sure.
it was an interesting song, and I thought
Yeah.
it was well done. I really liked the
Yeah.
video.
It's Elton
Oh,
John. I mean,
yeah,
Yeah,
it's got a great melody. Nikita, is it cold out there? In your little corner of the world. It's
hmm
just brilliant. So, um, it's yeah, it's a love story that you're
it is.
bang on. So but it's how it's told and how it's sung. And Elton John's voice, it's just unmistakable, really.
Yeah.
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 Um,
He is another one who's a great storyteller. A lot of
mm,
his most popular songs are about someone
mm.
lost love or, pining for someone or just everyday slice of life kind of stuff.
Yeah.
So was this your
And
favorite, Will?
No, this wasn't actually. Yeah. And you know what? For once, it's actually maybe I'm trying to think if it's the next song, but I think it is. I think it's the next song.
All right. Well, let's see. Is it
Yeah.
this one? This is
Of
the one?
course, this is this.
Are you
Yeah, this
sure?
is my
Is
favorite
that your
song.
final
Of
answer?
course it is. Yeah.
All right. Yeah. Finally.
Right down. Yeah, sure. Who can't love Huey Lewis in the News? I mean, do you like Huey Lewis in the News?
I do. I like
yeah,
this song in particular. This is one of my favorites. I would say this is also my favorite of the list just because of the time it hit. It was a great
hmm
song, 86, all kinds of stuff was going on. These guys were on fire because they'd been featured in
oh
Back to the
yeah,
Future in 85. They'd been popular before, but they were super popular at this point. And just a great song.
Video is so much fun.
Ironically, Oh, the video is really fun. And like you had been saying in the green room, Will, this was kind of like they were doing selfies before selfies were a thing. The way they had
Yeah.
the cameras in the video, that's right up on the drums, it's right up on the mic. And you're seeing they're having a lot of fun. Actually, going into the backstory, this was inspired by a book called Bobos in Paradise, which had to do with the shift in the bohemian era of what was going on in the 60s, which Huey Lewis
Okay.
grew up with. So there was, people were kind of doing that tune in or tune. How did Leary put it? Tune out, turn off, drop out, something like that. Basically, it was counterculture. And yet many of these people, in order to fit into society and get a job and actually pay bills, had to figure out how to fit into society and, do the look, wear the suit, cut the hair, do the thing, but still have the spirit of the bohemian inside. And, that was kind of the thing of this was, it's hip to be square. It's, you fit the mold you got to fit, but inside you can still party like it's 1985. So.
Yeah. Yeah. It's just a good damn rock and roll song,
Yeah.
Exactly.
It's get up, if you got long hair, just bang your head, it's not it's bang your head, but it's funny as. I mean, yeah, you're right. It's a funny group, right? It's a comical group, it's when this came on the scene when I was younger, I'm going, who are these guys? These guys are brilliant. It's got this 4 on the, and it's going like, it's got to be a golf terminology, right?
Yeah.
4, it's hip to be square. It's just brilliant. When I seen this video once before when I was younger, I'm going, this is crazy, man. This is great with the, drumstick. You can see it, the camera on the drumstick, and how to do that and kind of thing, and him up really close to the camera.
Yeah. The great thing with these guys, they'd paid their dues. They'd been around a long time and hadn't hit major success until they were featured on, the soundtrack with The Power of Love. And what was the other song that was from Back to the Future they did?
Back in Time.
Back in Time. Thank you. And that really shot them to superstardom. But they were just guys having fun. And a lot of their early videos reflect that. So very cool.
Just like, he screams out, "I'm the one with the harmonica," and he starts playing it. This album, it just spoke volumes for my in my day. I loved it because all the songs on here are just, sports is great. The album Sports Before, right? But this one just spoke to me. It was just like, this is my band for the 1980s. It's not a Kiwi band. It's these guys. It's Huey Lewis and the News, right? Even the name, Huey Lewis and the News, it just sounds really good, So,
and this is one of those that we talk about listening to the whole album from one end to the other as an experience. You can do that with this and with sports. I think you can just put on the album and listen to both sides. Just go through the songs as they were intended in the way that they're placed on the album. And it's just a cool experience. Something we don't get anymore because now songs are kind of just put out digitally, and we don't get the continuity of, whole albums like we used to.
Yeah, I kind of lived in the 80s with songs, basically, I'm not a big fan of, sorry if you do like the songs now, but I don't get the beat to it sometimes.
It's not a bad place to reside. And, like I said, I felt very at home in your playlist. Like I said, even the songs that I didn't know just felt like
familiar,
80s to me.
Similar vibe. Yeah. This song obviously became sort of an anthem for geeks and others who have tastes that are not in the mainstream. So it became kind of our rally cry. It is hip to be square. It also took on a darker connotation a little later when American Psycho came out. In the scene where Patrick Bateman, played by Christian Bale, is chatting with his coworker Paul Allen, played by Jared Leto, he's talking about the discography of Huey Lewis and the News, and pops on this song just before he introduces him to his shiny axe.
Yeah. His walk is so brilliant. His walk is so brilliant.
Oh yeah.
It's so bizarre. And, it was definitely done for the dark comedy of it. And because of that, Huey Lewis himself parodied himself from that movie and reenacted the scene with Weird Al Yankovic in a little short they did for Funny or Die, which was
definitely
hilarious.
Shows that he has a great sense of humor.
Oh yeah.
To do that.
Him and Back to the Future when he gets a little cameo, stands up and
Yes.
says, "No, you're just too damn loud."
Yeah,
Yep.
that was great.
So this was a fun playlist, my friend. I enjoyed it.
Yeah, thank you.
A lot of good 80s memories. This is where we live too. So we're definitely digging it. Thank you for introducing us to some newer artists, new to us, that we didn't know, that we'll continue to check out their other music.
Yeah, check out Split Ends, people out there. Split Ends is just a great band.
Split Ends,
really
okay.
wacky titles like like Shark Attack and 6 Months on a Leaky Boat, and
I have to definitely check out more Major.
That's totally that would be totally a Scuba Pete thing with the Leaky Boat. I will have to ask him if that's on his playlist next time he's on.
Yeah, of course. Majura as well with Ultravox. Check out his band before for a solo career. I grew up, like Dave Dobbin and Dee Dee Smash and Dudes. Check out them as well. So, because they grew up, like you say, I mean, like UK bands in Liverpool or Huey Lewis must have grew up with a lot of bands in his area as well.
Oh yeah.
A
lot of these guys have been playing, small venues and bars and honky tonks and, did the whole road thing long before they were famous. So it's interesting to hear the stories behind the scenes of how different people knew each other and played in different bands together or played on each other's albums. It's always neat. So I encourage people to check that out and see how some of these people are interrelated, what other albums they have done. So check out.
I must add this. Sorry to interrupt. I went to a concert in my own hometown, and got to meet Tina Turner. But Tina Turner arrived in this little town called Nelson, New Zealand, my own hometown. Right.
Nice.
She was touring with Jimmy Barnes. Right, and this was a Dreams tour. Something like that. She had an album called Dreams or something like that. And funnily enough, I'm going to get crucified because this story goes. I'm going to get crucified. I'm going to tell you anyway. It's just I bought a hat, right? But it had Tina Turner written on the back, right? Every time I wore the bloody thing, I got called Tina. G'day, Tina. It's I'm not going to do that again. But Tina Turner was brilliant, and absolutely brilliant in that concert because it was like she came to my town. This is a city. This is a small city in New Zealand. I'm going. This is brilliant, and she's touring with Jimmy Barnes. It's awesome. So that's a little story that I kind of that resonates with me, right?
Sure.
Yeah, so it's brilliant. Anyway, so
that's what it's about. It's your personal experiences. You're sharing this.
How things connect with certain memories. That's always a very cool thing about music. So please come back again. We will not call you Tina.
Yeah.
I know you've got other songs that you want to talk about.
If you wear the hat,
I don't have
We're
it
obligated now.
Sorry, I don't have it. Yeah.
Okay, then we won't.
Yeah. Well, yeah,
all
we'll
right,
come.
Guys.
I'm really, I got a great second list already, but I'm not going to do that around.
That'd be great. We'd love to have you back. We'll do this again sometime. Will, any words of wisdom before we wind up for the evening?
Just live in the moment. Don't obsess about tomorrow and flying cars and.
I just love that sound effect. Sorry. I'm just looking for ways to work it in because, who wouldn't?
Get a stormtrooper and just keel it over.
That's it.
Yeah.
All right, guys. This
All right.
will air in the very near future. Probably not on a Wednesday, but who
Yeah.
knows? It'll just pop up. So we're everywhere. We're every win,
Thanks.
and we're
This
in
has been
3
great,
different
guys.
time zones.
It's really
so
been great. It's an honor actually to be on this show because it's been. I've always,
Well, thank you. Yeah.
Yeah, we always have fun just hanging out and getting to meet and greet and get to know people better through the music they love. So this was a great experience for us too.
Cool, awesome.
We
Yeah.
will see you guys in the very near future. Everybody at home, don't forget the playlist is in the description below, along with the link to the PGM show. So check it out, and we'll see you in the very near future, maybe.
Bye, guys.
We gon' break up, then we make up. Act like we're gonna be friends. Blaze the fire, take me higher. Leave it all over again, all over again. Leave it all over again, all over again. Leave it all over again. We gon' break up, then we make up. Act like we're gonna be friends. Blaze the fire, take me higher.